Well, I'm going to have two top 10 lists this week. I do this from time to time throughout the year, later in the spring. The first top... Hi. Hi. The first top 10 list would be yesterday. Top 10 horses that went yesterday. And it's vastly different. I should say that before I look at it. It is. It's vastly different from top 10 list overall. Now, the top 10 list overall would be a mix of talent. I suppose perceived talent would carry some weight. And then consistency would have to be in there. Overall ability, what I believe are our most talented animals to date. And even if I can extrapolate, like I'll let the cat out of the bag a little bit. I have 3 Point Blue Chip on the list. I like what I've seen from him the last 3 weeks. I believe we now need to start peeling off that weight, taking the hobbles off him, and let him turn into the trotter we had purchased him to be. So I put him on the list. Although when you look back on it over the last 3 months, he's made a lot of breaks. Only his last two drone sets were ones he did not make a break. Or last two training miles were ones he didn't make a break. But I still go back to when I sit behind him, he still gives you that pop that you think he's a good horse, but he's made mistakes. So mentally he needs to mature, but physically I see him... Yay! Physically, I see him maturing. So we'll start off with top 10 list from yesterday. So you guys saw the sets. It was a great day of training. Many of you may be looking at the vehicle and saying, what are you driving? Amy, hopefully we're being optimistic that we can spend some time in the States this summer, and opted to trade her Jeep in. It was a lease and it was time to trade it in. She opted to trade it in for something a little bigger. So this is what's this called again? A GMC Traverse. It's got 3 rows of seating. Hat. 3 rows of seating, and it drives nice. Nice, comfortable car. So we'll get to the top 10 list from yesterday. 9 sets yesterday. Very, very few horses left us scratching our heads yesterday to say, geez, what is wrong with that horse? Matt's... Hey, don't do that. Matt's MVP... Oh, I see you. Matt's MVP made a little break yesterday. But I told everybody it was well documented heading into the day. I know there's a lot of people out there saying, come on, Anthony, Matt's MVP, what is wrong with this horse? You need to relax. You need to understand that the horse trotted fine for 2 weeks. We chopped all his toes off, and then he didn't trot fine. Now, in fairness, before that, he made a break on the last drone session, and I told you it was because his toes were too long. As we get a look at Matt's MVP, how he's traveling, what he's doing, I'm not concerned. I know a lot of people see him making breaks, and they're pulling their hair out. You can sell your shares if you want, but I can tell you that there was another filly that made a lot more breaks than Matt's MVP will ever make, who ended up being a very nice filly for us, and I suspect an even nicer filly this year into her 4-year-old year, and that's Spirit of Dio. If you think I'm pulling your leg, go back and look at her drone videos from when she was a yearling heading into her 2-year-old season. So let's get right to it. Ollie's making his first. Everybody in this car forgot their mask. We went to the barn. I have lots of masks at home or in my car, but in this car, buddy, that's a giant bottle of not what I ordered. Okay.
That was the smallest that they had.
Really? You think I haven't shopped there before? You think this is my first time to this particular gas station?
The only thing that can take there.
Anyway, it's fine. It's not a big deal. Sit down, sit back, get your seatbelt on.
Thank you.
So, I forget what I was saying. So, the top 10 list for today. These are the top 10 horses that I saw yesterday. Oh, we were talking about Matt's MVP. I don't want to drone on about Matt's MVP. You're either going to have to take my word for it, or you're simply going to have to be angry. You can send me angry emails if you want, or curse at me on the phone. At the end of the day, Matt's MVP doesn't worry me in the least. It is March 21st, which means it's 70 days from his qualifier, potential qualifier, and 80 days, 90 days from when he's going to race. I think Matt will be just fine. So, top 10 list for yesterday. I had a lot of problems. I had 19 horses to begin with. I thought I was being frugal with the horses. I had 19. It was really, really tough to whittle it down to 10. I could have gone with the old, here's your top 15, but I stuck to 10, and I'm sticking to it. Number 10 from yesterday, Of Tom. Oh Amy knows I love Of Tom, and I worked her harder than even I planned to yesterday. She was the second fastest horse in the entire day. That set went in 222, 223, somewhere around there. Now that little filly that Amy used to go with, that blew everybody up all January, laid it on them, struggled a bit in February. We got the corks off. Little Rolly, she is dialed in now. Chris Rogers went with her yesterday, and she was very, very good. She must have been on the list ahead of this one, no? Where's she at? Oh, yes, she is. I'm not going to tell your name because she's on the list later on. Of Tom was very good yesterday. She just, as I said afterwards, you're not going to see a giraffe outsprint a mouse. And the little filly, you know, Of Tom has got 3 full months of muscle to put on. She's eating good. Her attitude's good. She loves her work. I love everything about this filly, but she does need that muscle. And you can't put it on overnight. It's going to take 3 full months to put it on, 2.5, 3 full months to put it on. I suspect by the time we get into the heart of racing season, Of Tom will look very, very nice. Her head screwed on straight. When she's trotting, she is one of the most fluid, beautiful trotters we have. She just needs to pack a lot of muscle and weight onto that big, giant frame. And the little mouse sat in behind her yesterday and just scurried by her down the lane. I'm certainly not worried about her for a number of reasons. One, Of Tom's not a pacer, and 2, she's not small. So good for the filly that got up and beat her. But Of Tom showed a lot of grit yesterday. Very, very happy with Of Tom. Number 9 is a filly that, well, I guess she had to be on here before Of Tom. Now, we had 9 sets. I believe I did put the 9 winners on here. There was only 1 second place finisher, which made it very difficult. Massive Profit was second yesterday. I couldn't put him on the top 10. It's a horse I've been telling you about forever, and he looked awesome yesterday. But I just like Of Tom, I guess, a little bit more than all the horses that were second or third. So she made it on the list. We had 9 winners and 1 second place finisher. Number 9, Sweet on Pete. I told you guys, everybody all winner. What's wrong with Pete? She looks terrible. She can't trot. And I told you just to take your time and relax. We got the corks off her. We got the weight off her. We changed her shoes. Looked pretty good yesterday. That was a big mile for Sweet on Pete. Now she ran down 3 Point Blue Chip, another horse who is now in the situation Sweet on Pete was in a month ago. Start getting the weight off her. Got the corks off him. Start getting the weight off him and shed those hobbles. Exactly same situation Sweet on Pete was in, and look how good she looked yesterday. Sweet on Pete looked awesome. Where is my number 8? Here, 8. Oh, I had my thumb on it. Number 8, 1-2, Skip a Few. I told you guys, how bad did she tie up? I got to tell you, I didn't take a blood count on her when she did originally tie up. We knew it was high. We knew a long way to get to the races. So we went, rather than spend your money, our clients, my partner's money on finding out how high that AST was, we just started chipping away at it, right? She was rickety looking for a good 3 weeks. Yesterday was the first time you started to see that smooth gait come back. A few little shutter steps here and there, but when I put her in gear, man, she really manhandled some nice horses yesterday. Mile into 226, I think. 226 for 1-2, Skip a Few. But just effortless. Just such a beautiful filly when she's got everything going on. Now, beware. She can tie up. She did tie up. Make sure she doesn't anymore. And that will be, especially when she goes to Jason's, you know, those long... Hey, Moa? Oh, can you shave some of this? Yeah. That long ship down to Scioto from Northfield. You know, some of those fairs, some of those stakes. Be aware that she has tied up. Where'd your Baba go? Ava, grab that bottle, honey. She has tied up in the past. She could in the future. Be aware. So 1-2, Skip a Few. Back on track and looking very, very good. Comes in at number 8, number 7. The little mouse that scurried by Of Tom. Better Be Sawyer. She had an incredible December and January. A very lackluster February. And then come up swinging again. We're now in the 3rd week of March, and she looked very, very good. Very impressed with Better Be Sawyer yesterday. Chris Graver gave her a great drive, and she executed very well. Number 6, a horse you're going to see climb again by the looks of this horse. World for 2 looked pretty good yesterday. Certainly no faults for World for 2. He looked exceptionally good. Manhandled our best horses yesterday and made them like it. I think there's some changes to be made with... Hey, drink your juicy. I think there's some changes to be made on Almost There Boss. First change we're going to make is castrate him, make a few little shoeing changes, let his hobbles out. I think, give me 3 weeks before we have a very candid, serious conversation about Almost There Boss. Obviously, he's very fast. I think we need 3 weeks of working on this horse, and he'll be just fine. That was number 6, World 4-2. Now we cracked the top 5. Where's 5? Number 5 from the last set, Spent. Won his set, looked very good yesterday. I thought I had him right where I wanted. Coming out of the turn, from the head of the lane to the wire, we were trotting as fast as you could ask a 2-year-old trotter to do right now. And he beat me fair and square. I thought I had him for sure. And Mischievous Rose was coming to both of us. 3 trotters flying down the lane. Spent got the job done. Can't fault him there. He looked very, very good. Number 4, Voyage of Ice and Fire. I love everything about this horse. I put him on the front yesterday, and he simply overpowered them and made them like it. He looked exceptionally good yesterday trotting. Very, very impressed with the way this horse looked. I've been very impressed with him for a long time. As I said, wears a lot of weight, wears a tight hobble, not fluid. You know, if you took the weight and hobbles off him, all you'd have is a thoroughbred. All he'd do is run. But you give him the tools to do his work, man, oh man, look out. He's a real powerhouse, and when you got him dialed in and got him hung up properly, man, he's just a beautiful horse to sit behind. And Voyage of Ice and Fire, the horse that we have paid into the Next Generation Trotting Series, he looked good yesterday. Number 3, talk about overpowering them, Rose Above It. Now, the difference between Rose Above It and Voyage of Ice and Fire is Voyage of Ice and Fire does everything right? When you sit behind him, he understands his work. He does his work very, very well. And I was extremely happy with the result from both Rose Above It and Voyage of Ice and Fire, but 2 very different training miles. Voyage of Ice and Fire was very methodical out there, did his work well, but understood what his work was. Rose Above It just went, you know, he just went out and started swinging, right? Very heavy mouth on him yesterday, a little aggressive, a little aggressive. I think we can change that. You know, we just had an ear hood on him yesterday without the cones in the ear hood, for those of you that are horsemen, without the cone, the plastic cones under the ear hood, or earplugs. I think if we put the earplugs and cones on them, put a wire snake cord rather than that girly rubber one that we had on them, I think that Rose Above It will be fine. The fact that he trots so smooth and so confident now, I think that's where that aggression is coming from. He's just cocky. That's what he's feeling. He's just feeling himself right now, and he thinks he's the best horse in the world. You know, he's going to find out soon enough he's not. He's a very good one. Very nice colt. Does his work very well. Very impressed and very happy. Very impressed and very happy with the trip from Rose Above It yesterday. He was very good. Top 2 horses. Now, overall, Isa 10 comes in at number 2. I was very happy with her. Going to continue to get her checked at the vet. She lays on a line once in a while, gets over on a shaft. I don't think it's anything serious because she can just do it so fast. But want to make sure that nothing's knocking on the door. She's going to go up to the vet on Tuesday. This isn't something that has just come up. She's always been on the left line. She's always been on the right shaft. We've had her to the vet once. Nothing was found. There's no lameness that I can see. She didn't pull up sore or start out sore. This is a filly we got very, very high hopes for. This is our Next Generation Trotting filly thus far. So looked incredibly strong yesterday, and just a bull in a china shop for a little horse. She's a little pit bull out there, but she was very, very good. The only one that looked better, Will to Win Hanover. And Will to Win Hanover, I told you many, many times my thoughts on Will to Win Hanover. What I see forming in front of me, and I keep saying it, and this is important that we have so many useful tools in the barn, both humans and horses. James has just done an incredible job with this filly, and what I saw yesterday was that coming to fruition. If she continues to progress, I could see. I don't want to use any grandiose words to explain her, but my expectations and hopes and even some dreams, I guess, a little bit, are rising every week I see this filly trot. So Will to Win Hanover, incredible yesterday. Hopefully continues to be incredible. So my top 10 list was very difficult. I'll give you a little quick rundown of the horses that didn't make it. I thought Unbeatable Kemp was great. Renegade Gypsy has been great. Just finished 4th or 5th yesterday. I couldn't put him on the list. Right? A Bomb Hugger was 2nd or 3rd. Couldn't put her on the list. LSL was good. Stonebridge Acadi, Grace, all good again yesterday. Luck of the Dragon, almost there, boss. Second beat 3/4 of a length. He was awesome. Century Invictus was good. Amor Diener was 2nd and looked great. Prairie Fire looked fantastic again. Herlin L looked great yesterday for the first time in a while. Right? Resolute Bay. Tioga Sunshine was 2nd. Kathy with an eye. Garden State Dio. Everybody from set 5 was great yesterday. Miss Mildred. James just went around protect her. She looked awesome. Go back and watch her finishing up. Miss Mildred was good. Slim Jimmy was good again. Procrastinator finished up strong yesterday. You Gotta Believe was good yesterday. Confederate Cruiser, I thought was a winner. I thought was a winner and finished 2nd. He was good. 3 Point Blue Chip finished 2nd and was very good.
I'm gonna wear that dumb mask.
Why don't we just go home and get a mask? I think so.
Mom, just ask for one.
Yeah, you can ask for one. They have them at the door. It's so embarrassing now when you don't have your mask. You feel like you forgot your shoes or your coat. Anyway, and I never forget. I have a big bag of masks right behind my front seat. But this is Amy's car, so what are you going to do? Taiwan on. Johnny said if I didn't get down in front of him with Hill of Magic and make a break, he's a winner yesterday. Taiwan on looked incredible. This is a bar-hopping filly. That's a sister to Tipsy and Dixie, who's getting ready to go right now. Mischievous Rose was incredible also. And I guess an honorable shout out also to Rosie's Masterpiece, who first training trip in 10 days after getting a splint crowd. She was very good again yesterday. So that's my top 10 list for the day of March 20th, 2021. I'm going to come back with my top 10 list overall. My personal feelings of who are 10 best horses to date. A little bit looking into the future, but to date, right now, everything considered. The only horse on here that I think is more of a what I would call a Ouija board pick, a pick that maybe to form now hasn't proven he belongs on this list, but I think you guys know who it is. I believe he will make this list very soon, and I put him on because I got a lot of trust in him, got a lot of hope in him. So that's my list for today. I'm going to come back in a minute. I'm going to give you my top 10 list to date. Jimmy did one. I'm going to do one right here in a minute. We're going to get James, Johnny, Mario, even Brody. I'm missing somebody. James, Johnny, Brody, Mario. Jimmy and I did mine. Okay. I'll be back in just a minute with my top 10 list overall.